Karatia Anani Vamerchavia Min Hametzai 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 Karatia Anani Vamerchavia Ozi Zimratya Vayehili Yeshua Ozi Vizimratya Anani Vamerchavia Ozi Vizimratya Vayehili Yeshua Ozi Vizimratya Vayehili Yeshua. Min Hametzar. From my distress, from the narrowness, I cry out, God. And God brings this great release. Oziv Zimratya Vayehili Yeshua, my strength, my song, is you, God. For you are the source of help. I don't think anybody here right this moment, I don't think any of us are feeling like we've come out of a narrow place. Rather, I think that the majority of us are feeling like we are, rather than moving to the expanse, we are caught in the narrows. I also feel not surprised. It's, people that have dealt with, and I'm not comparing this to death, but the correlation is when somebody dies tragically, there's no time for preparation. But when someone is sick for a really long time, you're still not prepared in the end, but you have time where you're preparing. And so no matter how much we prepared for this potential outcome, here we are left in the narrows, feeling constraint and constrained. Feeling, some of us, like we can't breathe, feeling like we are fearful for the next 4 years of our own lives, the lives of our friends or children, women, whatever, wherever the things are. And so I thought about it for like a few moments last night, and then I was feeding the girls in the middle of the night, and then again this morning, then driving to Ellis to school, and I thought, this isn't the outcome, no matter how prepared we were for it to potentially be. We're still left shaking our heads. How could it be? How could it be? Like criminals that get let free, where the innocent remain trapped. There have been many people who, I can't say surprised, but maybe a little surprised by who they chose, by how on social media they're celebrating this morning. And when I was sitting watching only for a few moments, and I swear it was maybe only 5 minutes before I could turn off the TV, but I kept saying, oh, there'll be no answer for days. It'll be too close. It'll be a problem. It'll be corrupt system. It'll be that we need the court involved. It'll be a whole thing. Until this morning, it's like, a landslide, but it's like you just slid. You're just sliding. We all feel like we are, it's not the snow hill with your sled that you're so excited to go to the community park and sled down the hill, knowing that there's an end to it and you can do it again. No, we are in a landslide. We are feeling like totally out of control. The feeling of not excitement, but rather uncertainty, uncontrolled motion. And we are here, scratching our heads, holding our hearts, wondering, confused, scared. We're all of those things at once. I sent a picture. Ellis received a gift for his birthday of a dinosaur terrarium from the director of his school. And he wanted to do it this morning. I said, okay, I hate projects before school because it just means like we're not getting out of the door on time. But he promised that we would still be early. And we did it. And I sent a picture of it to the director. And her response was, this is probably the only bright thing in the day. And I thought to myself, we're all feeling like that. There's got to be something brighter. A half hour elapses, and she sends me a picture of Ellis carrying the roll of, I guess you would call it bulletin board paper, the heavy roll of colored paper. And she wrote, your amazing, helpful child gives me hope for the future. And I think about our life, and I think about our lives collectively, and what we're really here for is to make the world a better place. And that's still our work, despite the news. It's still our work, despite the heaviness that we're feeling, the brokenness. And this is not shattered ceilings. This is brokenness. This is pieces that we need to put together. In this week's Parsha, this week's Torah portion, Lech Lecha, is, Avram changing to Abraham and Sarai to Sarah. Each adding a hey in their name and H. Each adding this bit of Hashem. This bit of, or wholeness of godliness. Despite being sent out, God says, this is how it's going to be. So if you want to be that nation, if you want to make sure that your seed, all of you, will have a place, go. Leave your father's house. Go to what is uncertain, and I will be there. For many of us, it's hard to feel God in hard moments. And for many of us, it's the only thing that we hold on to. That maybe there's this plan. We just don't get it in this moment, but maybe there's a plan. And all of us struggle between both of those. Because, hey, we're God wrestlers, not anything but Israel. God's wrestlers. And so we're leaving in an uncomfortable place, but we weren't really comfortable before. And now we're really uncomfortable. And so the only thing that brings us comfort is being together. To know that our voices still matter, even if they can't be heard by the top here, local, in your circles, a little beyond your circle, is still the opportunity for us to do good in the world. It is not for us to bury our head in the sand, for then they're winning. Rather, we need to pick it up and do what we can. So I'm going to show you the picture, then I'm going to share some words that somebody really special to me sent this morning as a reminder. So here's the boy helping. First, I guess I should show the terrarium though. First, he made this dinosaur terrarium this morning. And he told me, even though this isn't really real, Ima, we can always move it around and make it look different. Isn't that so cool? And I thought to myself, you're right, buddy. We can always move it around and make it look better. We can always move our thoughts around until they feel like they're right. And then here he is, helping his teacher and the director of school bring this to where it is. And we are those helpers, even when we feel like we can't get out of our own way. So here's what I received as a message from someone I hold in high regard, who usually has the right words to say. And he says, as Nelson Mandela said, may your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. We will recalibrate for the new reality, move forward and rise to the occasion as we always do. He says, I've been preparing for this outcome, not like 2016, and we will persevere. I know that there's a lot of anxiety out there, but remember, when you run toward the anxiety, it will run away. If you stand still, it will consume you. So let's take a deep breath and continue our march across that chasm. At the same time, we need to double down on our values and our sense of civic responsibility. We need to be prepared to stand up and speak out with courage and conviction when we see acts that are inconsistent with the American values of freedom, civility, and acceptance. As Winston Churchill said, to each, there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively trapped and sometimes tapped on the shoulder and offered a chance to do a special thing, unique to them and fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified for that which could have been their finest hour. It's time to be prepared for all that is uncertain in whatever way we can, to stand up and be ready for a special chance to do a special thing. So from this broken heart and heaviness to yours, together we can do hard things. For all of us are already doing them. For our children, for our friends, for ourselves, for our community, for the greater Jewish community and for the world, we need to saddle up and buckle down, ready, willing, and able in whatever capacity we have to have difficult conversations, to stand up for what is right, and to protect the welfare of humanity, despite who sits and sleeps in the White House. From the narrowness, from the distress, we call out. We call out, God. We need release. We are in for 4 years, but that doesn't mean he wins. We will win if we stay together, if we stick together, if we know that acceptance, if we know that love, if we know that speaking out and standing up is part of our civic duty, we must continue to do just that. Together we can do hard things, and we will. Because there is no other way. The next 4 years, there's going to be plenty of times where we are holding our heads, when we are gripping our chests, when we are wondering if this is anxiety or if this is a heart attack, because we are not going to believe just what's happening in the world. But we're going to come back here together and unpack it and hold space and hold each other and continue to do what we know is right and fair and just from a place of love. We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you, and we will continue to show up together. We're doing the hard things. Thank you for being here, Eileen, Rabbi Jay, Jennifer, Lita, Elisa, Amy, Linda, Dr. Lisa. Let's keep doing the work that we do in the world. We love you. From the narrowness, let us find each other in the expanse. And if we can't, together we will cry out from that which is the tight places. Ozi v'zimrat yad vayehi li Yeshua. Ozi v'zimrat yad vayehi li Yeshua. Jane, it was wonderful to be with you this morning. There's someone else that I didn't mention that is here. I saw it, but it's gone now. Whoever you are, if you didn't check in, we're grateful that you're here. Try to make the best of this day. See something that is light in addition to the light that has been blinding me for the last however many minutes we're here, 20. Maybe that's the light you need. Find something that brings a smile to your face today. That is your mandatory work. And I will see you back here tomorrow at 9:30. Let's continue to pray and lift each other up. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai.